When God declares that a season has come to an end, nothing in the universe can extend it. Not the enemy, not people, not circumstances, not even the fears that have tried to break you. And today, God is speaking into your life with unmistakable clarity. This is the end of your tough situation. You may have walked through months, years, or perhaps even decades of silent battles, unseen tears, and unspoken pain. But God watches every chapter of your story. And when God stands up and says enough, the struggle must bow, the darkness must lift, and the chains must fall. You have endured what felt like a season without a sunrise. But God has already declared that the night is over. The time of suffering that once felt endless is now standing before the command of God, and God does not speak in vain. When God says something is over, it is over. You may feel like the weight you've been carrying is too heavy, but God is lifting it now. You may feel like you're still standing inside the storm, but God has already spoken to the storm. And though the winds seem strong, their assignment has expired. Every tear that fell from your eyes was counted. Every prayer you prayed behind closed doors echoed in the presence of God. Every time you whispered, "God, how much longer?" Heaven listened. And now God is answering, not with delay, not with hesitation, not with distance, but with power. God is moving, and when God moves, no force can resist. The tough situation that held you captive has reached its limit, because God has determined that your breakthrough must begin. There are moments in life when God interrupts our suffering with divine intervention. Moments when the struggle you thought would consume you suddenly loses its grip. Moments when the door you thought was permanently shut swings open with supernatural force. You are standing at such a moment right now. You may not see it fully, you may not feel it completely, but God has already set the new season in motion. What once oppressed your spirit is losing its authority. What once drained your strength is collapsing before the command of God. Your spirit may still feel the tremors of what you endured, but God is now restoring what was damaged, healing what was wounded, and rebuilding what was broken. God does not leave His people in valleys forever. God raises, God revives, God reverses, and God restores. There were times when you questioned whether God still remembered you. Times when you wondered if your prayers were hitting the ceiling. Times when your soul felt tired and your hope felt thin. You may have thought that the silence of God meant absence, but silence is not absence. It is preparation. While you felt abandoned, God was aligning the pieces. While you were waiting, God was working. While you were doubting, God was orchestrating. Your tough situation was never forgotten, never overlooked, and never ignored. God has been watching every hour of your struggle. And the moment God decides to end a season, the ending is swift and the transformation is undeniable. God is bringing you out, not weak, not defeated, not exhausted, but stronger, wiser, and spiritually equipped for the elevation that follows. You may look at your life and see only the evidence of hardship. You see the broken relationships, the financial pressures, the emotional heaviness, the health challenges, the betrayals, the disappointments. But God sees beyond what you see. God sees what is forming behind the scenes. God sees the victory that is approaching. God sees the blessing that is unfolding. God sees the strength you gained in your suffering, the faith muscles you built in adversity, the resilience you developed in darkness. Your tough situation tried to break you, but instead it shaped you, it grew you, it refined you, it positioned you. And now God is declaring that the chapter designed to crush you is over. There is a spiritual shift happening in your life. You may not recognize it fully yet, but your spirit senses it. Something is changing, something is moving, something is releasing. God is pulling you out of cycles that drain your energy. God is removing you from environments that suffocated your potential. God is disconnecting you from battles that no longer belong to your future. You are stepping out of entanglement and stepping into clarity. You are stepping out of limitation and stepping into expansion. You are stepping out of fear and stepping into courage. You are stepping out of survival mode and stepping into the chapter God designed for you long ago. You survived what should have destroyed you, and that alone is evidence that God has been carrying you. You walked through situations that were bigger than you, but not bigger than God. You faced attacks that came out of nowhere, but God shielded you. You felt pressure that should have broken your mind, but God preserved you. Even when you were not aware of divine protection, God surrounded you with it. The tough situation had permission for a season, but God never allowed it to have the final word. The enemy may have tried to magnify your suffering, but God placed limits around it. Your pain had a boundary. Your tears had an expiration date. Your struggle had a finishing point, and God is announcing that the finish line has been crossed. There were moments you felt weak, but God held you. There were days you wanted to give up, but God spoke into the depths of your spirit, keep going. There were nights you cried silently, but God collected every tear as evidence of your endurance. You thought you were walking alone, but the presence of God never left you. You thought you were hidden in obscurity, but God saw you. You thought no one understood your battles, but God understood every detail. Your tough situation tried to convince you that you were forgotten, but God has never forgotten you. Not for 1 second, not for one breath. And now God is stepping into your story with a final declaration. This is the end of sleepless nights, the end of inner battles, the end of feeling stuck, the end of spiritual heaviness, the end of confusion, the end of waiting for something to change. God is breaking the chains that held you. God is uprooting the fear that haunted you. God is silencing the voices that discouraged you. God is closing the mouths of those who doubted you. God is reversing the decisions that were made against you. God is dismantling every wall that blocked you from progression. You may wonder why God allowed the storm in the first place, why God permitted the challenge, the disappointment, the setback. But every tough season has purpose within it. God never permits pain without planting something powerful inside it. The storm matured you. The struggle awakened you. The difficulty trained you. The battle deepened your reliance on God. You became more anchored, more discerning, more courageous, more aware of your spiritual strength. You learned to seek God not merely in comfort, but in desperation. And that is where transformation happens. The tough situation was not punishment, it was preparation. There were areas of your life that needed to be strengthened before God could elevate you. There were habits that to be broken. There were relationships that had to be removed. There were attachments that had to be severed. There were prayers that needed refining. There were desires that needed reshaping. God used your tough situation to clear your spiritual environment, to sharpen your vision, and to pull you closer to divine purpose. You could not see it then, but you will soon look back and realize that God was protecting you by delaying what you thought you needed. God was redirecting you when you thought life was falling apart. God was guiding you even when you felt lost. This is why the tough situation lasted as long as it did, not because God was ignoring you, but because God was completing a work inside you. God was building you into a vessel capable of carrying the blessing that is coming. God was strengthening your inner foundation so that when elevation arrives, nothing will shake you. You are stepping into a season that requires a stronger version of you, and God has already built that strength through your adversity. But now the construction is finished. The molding is complete. The season of pressure has served its purpose. The tough situation no longer has authority to operate in your life. What once intimidated you no longer holds power. What once exhausted you no longer has access. God is stepping into your circumstances and declaring an irreversible shift. You are moving forward. You are rising. You are being lifted. You are walking into divine alignment. Your tough situation was only a chapter, but God is the author, and the author has turned the page. For too long, you allowed your situation to define your identity. You thought that because you were struggling, you were stuck. You thought that because you were delayed, you were denied. You thought that because you were hurting, you were forgotten. But God does not measure you by your season. God measures you by your destiny. And your destiny is not tied to suffering. It is tied to purpose. God is removing the labels that your troubles tried to place on you. The label of failure, the label of insufficiency, the label of weakness, the label of being overlooked. Those labels were lies, and God is tearing them off your spirit. You are not who the battle tried to make you believe you were. You are who God says you are. And God says you are chosen, you are strengthened, you are protected, you are guided, you are destined, you are lifted, you are supported, you are equipped. And most importantly, you are stepping into a new chapter. One that does not carry the weight of your yesterday. This is why your spirit feels a shift even before circumstances change. God always moves spiritually before the physical manifestation appears. What you sense is not imagination, it is confirmation. The tough situation is dissolving. The breakthrough is forming. The new path is opening. The opportunities that once felt far suddenly feel near, because God is removing the obstacles that blocked your progress. Your tough situation fought hard to stay, but God fought harder. Your fears tried to hold you hostage, but God is setting you free. Your doubts tried to limit you, but God is expanding you. Your setbacks tried to slow you down, but God is accelerating you. Your losses tried to break you, but God is rebuilding you. You may not see all the evidence yet, but the spiritual decree has already been issued. Your struggle is over. Even now, God is removing the burden from your shoulders. Even now, God is lifting the heaviness from your heart. Even now, God is healing the wounds you hid from everyone else. Even now, God is restoring what was drained from your spirit. You do not have to fight with the same strength you used before, because God is fighting for you. You do not have to push the same you pushed before, because God is clearing the path. You do not have to fear what comes next, because God is already in your next season, preparing blessings that exceed your expectations. Your tough situation may have convinced you that life was against you, but God is now revealing that everything was working for you. The delays protected you. The closed doors redirected you. The betrayals purified your environment. The losses pushed you toward a greater purpose. The tears watered the seeds of your future. The loneliness created intimacy with God. The uncertainty built trust. The pain birthed spiritual maturity. What was meant to weaken you actually strengthened you. But the time for building and suffering is finished. God is shifting you from endurance to elevation, from struggle to stability, from wandering to direction, from heaviness to peace, from confusion to clarity, from frustration to fulfillment. The tough situation cannot follow you into the next chapter, because God has cut it off from your future. You are crossing over a spiritual boundary that your battles cannot pass through. You are stepping onto ground that your past cannot contaminate. This is not the time to doubt. This is the time to rise. The season that once suffocated you no longer has breath. The situation that once controlled your emotions no longer has authority. God is declaring a new beginning, and nothing can stop it. Not people, not resistance, not fear, not history, not memory, not circumstance. When God says it is over, the only thing left is for you to walk out of what once held you. And you will walk out. You will walk out with confidence. You will walk out with strength. You will walk out with spiritual insight. You will walk out with courage. You will walk out with wisdom you never had before. You will walk out knowing that God has been with you every step. Your tough situation. Ion ended the moment God declared it ended. Now you are simply catching up to the miracle that has already been released in your life. God is pushing you into divine momentum. God is opening doors that you did not even knock on. God is aligning opportunities that you did not expect. God is positioning people who will support your journey. God is removing distractions that stole your peace. God is strengthening your inner voice so that you can hear divine guidance with clarity. You are not walking into an ordinary season. You are walking into a God-ordained season, one touched by divine timing, one shaped by divine wisdom, one protected by divine presence. You are stepping into the fullness of what God has prepared, and nothing from your past can follow you into this new place unless you invite it, but you will not invite it because God has opened your eyes to who you truly are and what is truly ahead. Your tough situation was loud, your fears were loud, your doubts were loud, but God is louder. And God is speaking over your life right now with unmistakable authority. This is the end of your tough situation, and the beginning of a chapter that carries divine favor, divine peace, divine restoration, and divine purpose like never before. There comes a moment when God not only ends a difficult season, but also reveals why it lasted as long as it did. You are stepping into that moment now. God is pulling back the curtain, not to remind you of your pain, but to show you how much you've grown through it. You do not emerge from this season empty-handed. You are coming out with spiritual treasures you did not have before, discernment that can sense danger before it arrives, strength that cannot be easily shaken, patience that surpasses understanding, and a connection with God that hardship carved into the depths of your soul. This is not merely the end of a tough situation. This is the unveiling of a transformed you. God is lifting you into a version of yourself that you could not have become without the pressure that shaped you. Every tough situation leaves a mark, but when God ends it, the mark doesn't remain as pain. It becomes wisdom. This wisdom will guide you in the next chapter. This wisdom will keep you from returning to the places that drained you. This wisdom will help you identify the voices that do not deserve space in your life. This wisdom will open your eyes to the traps that once caught you off guard. You thought the difficulty was breaking you, but it was God sharpening your spiritual vision. You now carry the ability to walk into your future with clarity, stability, and the authority of someone who has seen God move personally, not theoretically. You may feel as though you lost time, lost opportunities, or lost parts of yourself during this tough stretch. But God never allows anything you lose to leave you without replacing it with something greater. God is a restorer, not only of circumstances, but of years, of joy, of identity, of purpose. Whatever you feel slipped through your fingers, God is preparing to return in a form that is stronger, purer, and better aligned with who you are becoming. The tough situation tried to convince you that you were diminished, but God is about to prove that you are being rebuilt in ways that exceed your own expectations. You will not exit this chapter weaker. You will exit with a spiritual inheritance. There is a divine acceleration coming into your life. For a long time, everything felt slow, delayed, paused. It felt like you were pushing through spiritual mud, trying to move but getting nowhere. Now, God is removing the spiritual resistance. God is clearing what was blocking your steps, dissolving what hindered your progress, and opening what was tightly sealed. You will look back and realize that God is not only ending your tough situation, God is redeeming the time you thought was wasted. What took years will now happen in months. What felt stuck will suddenly flow. What was complicated will become simple. When God releases acceleration, nothing can slow down what is divinely set in motion. This is why you must stay spiritually alert in this new season. When God shifts you, the enemy often tries to whisper old lies in new ways to make you believe that the struggle is still alive. But hear this clearly. When God ends a situation, the enemy has no authority to resurrect it. Do not let memories create fears that God has already silenced. Do not let past experiences shape your new expectations. God is rewriting the script of your life, and you must align your heart with the voice of God, not the echoes of old battles. Your new season requires new thinking. God is guiding you into a place where faith becomes your default posture, not survival mode. Do not underestimate the significance of God's timing. Some of your greatest frustrations came from trying to move before God opened the way. You pushed, but the door did not budge. You prayed, but nothing changed. You acted, but the results were delayed. Now you will understand why. God was not ignoring your efforts. God was preserving you for the right moment. There is power in divine timing. When God aligns circumstances, everything begins to flow with supernatural ease. What seemed impossible suddenly becomes attainable. What felt far suddenly becomes reachable. What once required your strength now moves by God's command alone. This is the power of God's timing, and this is the moment you have stepped into. You have been prepared for greater responsibility. The tough situation taught you how to manage pressure, how to stay grounded, how to trust deeply. God is about to place you in spaces that require the level of maturity you now possess. Had the elevation come earlier, the weight of it might have overwhelmed you. But now, God has built your inner structure. You are spiritually stable, emotionally deeper, mentally sharper. You will handle what comes next with wisdom that others will not understand. You will walk with confidence that others will admire. You will move with discernment that protects you from unnecessary battles. This is why the tough situation needed to end now, because you are finally ready for what God has prepared. You may still feel traces of exhaustion from your past season, but those traces will fade as God fills you with new strength. Your energy will return, your joy will rise, your hope will expand. God is not only ending the tough situation, God is renewing your spirit. You will feel a freshness you have not felt in years. You will wake with purpose instead of heaviness. You will breathe without the weight you used to carry. God is placing divine peace over your mind. Peace that stabilizes, peace that calms, peace that reassures, peace that removes fear from your decisions, peace that surrounds you like a shield. This shift is not happening around you, it is happening within you. God is healing internal wounds that you learn to live with. Wounds from betrayal, disappointment, isolation, wounds from battles you fought silently to avoid burdening others. You carried scars and called them normal. You carried pressure and called it responsibility. You carried pain and called it strength. Now God is lifting what you tolerated for too long. You are stepping into a season where emotional burdens no longer control your days. God is healing you in layers, freeing you from the invisible battles that no one else could see. In this next season, God is going to surprise you. Situations that once intimidated you will now bow before you. Conversation that once drained you will no longer affect you. People who once underestimated you will witness a version of you they never expected. You are rising into spiritual stature. You are stepping into a calm confidence that comes from knowing God is fighting your battles before they even reach you. You will experience breakthroughs that feel too sudden to be natural because they are not natural. They are divine. God is positioning you for blessings that were stored for this exact moment. You were not ready before, but you are ready now. This is why the season had to shift. God is making room for what is coming. You will notice that certain connections will naturally fade away, not as a loss, but as divine protection. God is removing anyone who could not handle your next chapter. God is clearing away anyone who would not celebrate your breakthrough. God is removing voices that would plant doubt when you need faith. Trust the removal. When God clears your environment, it is never empty. It is preparation. Your endurance has been seen. Your faith has been recorded. Your perseverance has been honored. You did not break. You did not quit. You did not surrender to despair. And because of that, God is rewarding you. God is elevating you to a place where your struggle will become your testimony. You will speak from a depth that only those who have endured can speak from. You will inspire others with authority because your wisdom is not borrowed, it is born from fire. God is turning your endurance into influence. You are stepping into divine alignment. Everything in your life is shifting into place. Your mindset, your relationships, your opportunities, your steps. Nothing will feel forced because God is orchestrating it. You will start to see patterns, connections, open doors, and unexpected favor. These are not coincidences. This is alignment. God is placing you exactly where you need to be. Geographically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You will feel guided, not confused. Directed, not lost. Supported, not vulnerable. Your tough situation once felt like a wall standing between you and your purpose. But God is transforming that wall into a bridge. What once blocked you will now be the very thing God uses to elevate you. The story of your suffering will become the platform for your authority. The experiences that brought you to your knees will become the foundation of your strength. The tears you cried will become the anointing of your voice. You are not emerging empty, you are emerging empowered. And now you will begin to experience the beauty of walking with God after a season of suffering. God is not bringing you out to leave you wandering. God is bringing you out to establish you. You will walk with clarity. You will walk with purpose. You will walk with spiritual wisdom that guides your decisions. You will walk with a renewed mind, a steady heart, and an unshakable conviction. You will walk in a way that others will notice a divine glow around your life. Your tough situation may have lasted longer than you wanted, but God wanted the transformation to last longer than the pain. You are not the same person you were when the struggle began. And that is why the struggle had to end now. Because you have become who God needed you to be. And now, as you stand at the threshold of a new life God has prepared, let your heart rise with the courage that comes from knowing you are not walking alone. Let every doubt that ever questioned your worth dissolve under the weight of what God has spoken over you. This is the moment to confront everything within you that settled for less. Everything that tolerated pain longer than necessary. Everything that accepted struggle as identity instead of experience. Lift your eyes and look at where God has brought you. Look at the strength you carry. Look at the faith that survives storms. Look at the spirit within you that refused to give up, even when everything around you seemed like it was collapsing. This is the moment to reclaim your life, not with hesitation, but with the boldness of someone who knows they are guided by the hand of God. Let today be the day you decide that your heart belongs fully to God, your mind is anchored in God, and your steps are aligned with the path God is placing before you. Let today be the turning point where you no longer treat your relationship with God as something you run to only when you are broken, but as the core of your daily existence. God has carried you through storms that would have crushed others, not just to deliver you, but to awaken you, to open your eyes, to call you into a deeper life, a higher standard, a clearer purpose. You cannot walk into your next season with the mindset of your past. You cannot carry fear into a future God has declared victorious. You must walk with the awareness that God is not only ending your tough situation, God is inviting you into a life of spiritual maturity, discipline, and unwavering trust. Take a moment and ask yourself what God has been trying to develop in you. Ask yourself what habits need to be released, what attitudes need to shift, what relationships need to be reevaluated, what thoughts need to be replaced with truth. Do not hide from these questions. Face them with honesty and humility, knowing that God reveals what needs to change only because God is preparing something greater. You cannot step into the fullness of God's blessing while holding on to pieces of yourself that belong to old battles. Let this be the moment you surrender your fears, your insecurities, your hidden anxieties, and lay them before God with total trust. You have seen what your strength can do. Now witness what God's strength can build in you. There is a spiritual fire inside you that God has been igniting slowly, flame by flame, struggle by struggle, breakthrough by breakthrough. And now that fire is ready to burn bright. Do not silence it. Do not suppress it. Do not dim it to fit into the expectations of others. Stand tall in the identity God has shaped within you. Walk with dignity, not because life has been gentle, but because God has been faithful. Walk with purpose, not because the path is easy, but because God is guiding your every step. Walk with humility, not out of fear, but out of deep gratitude for God's mercy over your life. Let your prayer become deeper. Let your discipline become stronger. Let your gratitude become louder. Let your heart become softer toward the whispers of God. The season you are entering will require a stronger connection with God than you have ever had before. Not out of fear, but because God is ready to speak to you in ways you have never experienced. You must live awake, aware, and aligned. You must reject anything inside you that keeps you spiritually numb. You must commit to walking with God daily, not occasionally. When your steps are guided by God, you will not drift. When your mind is anchored in God, you will not break. When your heart is surrendered to God, you will not lose yourself in the storms of life again. This is the moment to rise. Rise not because your situation is ending, but because your spirit has awakened. Rise not because everything is perfect, but because God is strengthening you to stand. Rise not because you feel ready, but because God has declared that you are. Everything you have walked through has prepared you for this elevation. Every silent tear, every private battle, every lonely night, every moment when you wondered if God heard you, all of it has led to this point. You are stepping out of the shadows of what was and into the light of what God is birthing within you. So stand with courage, stand with conviction, stand with the assurance that God has spoken over your life. Step forward with a heart that listens, a mind that trusts, and a soul that is surrendered. Let your spirit echo with the truth that God is for you, God is with you, and God has declared the end of your tough situation. As you walk from this moment into the next, carry this unshakable truth. When God speaks, nothing can oppose it. When God commands, nothing can resist it. When God lifts you, nothing can pull you down. Walk with that confidence, breathe with that assurance, and live each day as someone whose future is held firmly, safely, and lovingly in the hands of God.